How are you doing this morning,
I'm
sir?
good. I've recovered.
It's been a long weekend.
I've never been insulted so much in my life, but it's all good,
You saw everything online.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting.
How was it?
No, it's social media is an interesting animal because it brings out the best and the worst in people.
Okay.
So I always tell, I was giving some lectures a couple of weeks ago at UDS in Tamale, and I was lecturing about online safety and social media and the fact that whatever you do online follows you for the rest of your life. You understand? So even when you're looking for jobs and things, your employer will look at your social media, everything you've posted in the past. So if you're insulting people by heart, if you're posting, excessive political views or that sort of thing, it can affect you.
Yeah.
So it's like people when they're behind their phones, they think that they're anonymous.
Yeah.
But whatever you say is being recorded.
And it can be traced.
It can be traced. Yeah. So it's interesting how people behave differently. It's like they let themselves go when it comes to social media. But it's all good.
It's all good. Well, David Bolton is my special guest this morning, and we're about to get into it. We'll look at different, because we had a podcast that was last week, and then bits and pieces got out on social media with people checking the facts and as it is some other parts of it, but we'll to it as the conversation unfolds. But anyway, this morning I would like to encourage our listeners to follow the conversation on Facebook as well. We are live. Facebook is Hitz 103.9. Facebook is Hitz 103.9 on X. You can also watch us live. It's Hitz 103.9. But I mean, you're a man of, from the conversation that we had, I think we've had 3 conversations so far. Yeah. Last year when you released the song
Let Me Try.
Yeah. And with an amazing visuals to it.
Right.
So you guys can check it out on YouTube. Let Me Try, David Bolton. Last year we had a conversation on it, and then that was last week, Tuesday, right? Tuesday or Wednesday?
Wednesday.
Yes, we also had a conversation on Street is Watching. And I might have been drew this point. But then, I've gotten to know so much about you from your tech side, from your music career, and also as a producer and a sound engineer. But what inspired you to take on music production and engineering in Ghana?
That's a good question. I guess, you see, music production is the marriage of the art of music and the technology of recording.
Okay.
You understand? So for me, because I was already into technology, and I love technology, and I also love music, so it's like the perfect, the perfect storm, as they say. So it all came together. So I love sound. You know, the way sound can change your mood. It can make you feel sad. It's funny. I have a new song out. It's called "Hit the Snooze," and I posted it. And someone said they were already feeling so bad, and I've made them feel worse.
Because of the
because
sound.
of the song. Because it's talking about how if you hate your job, you don't want to get out of bed and all of that sort of thing. And, so it evokes emotions. So you have to, when you're recording music, it's called a record for a reason. You should record it to the best possible quality. So using technology to do that. So for me, it's always been that quest to always follow the wave of technology, because it changes all the time. Music doesn't change too much, but the technology changes very, very quickly.
Some of the artists that you've worked with, I mean, a tall list of artists that you've worked with ever since you started music production in Ghana. Now, for our listeners, we have Sir Kwamina. I never knew.
Where's the sir coming from?
Yeah, me, I'll give you. I'll take that one, give you. So I have David Kwamina Bolton to DKB. That is what DKB stands.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I never knew until they started tagging you on Facebook.
Okay.
So DKB is in the studio right now, And some of the highlights of your career, I know you've worked with Bravo. I know you've worked with VIP, Felix. Is it Felix Owusu?
Yeah, Felix Owusu.
Felix Owusu. You signed a couple of artists as well.
Yeah.
You worked with them for a while. But some of the highlights of your career, such notable artists and projects that you've worked on.
Whew. There are many, so it's difficult to pinpoint one. But I think in terms of where an artist started and where he ended up, I think there are two artists that stand out to me. One is KK Fosu.
KK Fosu, okay.
Yeah, and unfortunately he's been, in the news for the wrong reasons recently. But in terms of his talent, he is somebody that he had natural talent from day one.
Okay.
So we were there just to capture the essence of who he was. So he actually stayed with us for, I think, close to a year. He was living in my house. This was back when we had the studio in Dansuman. So he was living with us, and we were just finding free time in the studio. Anytime there was a free slot, which was rare those days because we were busy, then we'll put him on, start recording. So that's why it took so long to get his album finished. Okay. But then he also, since he was there, he would feature on artists that would come through.
Wow!
So that's how he ended up featuring on a lot of tracks in the early days. But yeah, so for him, and then the second one, OD4. Remember OD4?
Yeah.
OD4 is somebody that I respect so much because when he first came into the studio, he couldn't keep timing. He couldn't. He
couldn't be on time.
Yeah, he found it difficult when the headphones were on to match the beat with what he was trying to say. So we actually took him through and,
trying to
clapping
time,
and, this, and then all of that and trained him.
Okay.
And look where he got to. He had some great hit songs.
Wow.
Great hit songs. And he's still recording.
He's still recording?
Yeah. I mixed a song for him just a few weeks back.
Oh, okay.
He's still there. Yeah.
That means a brand new OD voice on the way.
Yep. He's now called Mavlas. He's rebranded. Mavlas. Yeah.
Mavlas. Okay.
Yeah.
But how has your approach to production engineering changed over the years? And some of the new tech and the learning experience along the way. How has it been for you?
For me, that's the most exciting part because every day there's something new coming.
Yeah.
The technology, there are new plugins being released, there are new DAWs, what we call the digital audio workstations. Now there's artificial intelligence, AI, that's being incorporated
into
music production now.
Wow.
Yeah. So so I love following the technology and seeing how you can use it to improve the music. You see, so I love it. I mean, even auto-tune allowed so many artists that couldn't sing to become artists. Whether you look at that as good or bad, it opened up the whole world of music to artists who wouldn't have been able to
hit certain keys.
Yeah, exactly. To even create something, and it made them appealing. So technology is wonderful when it comes to music. Yeah.
But you've definitely adapted to some of the the new tech that is.
Yeah. I mean, the song that I released last week, I used AI for certain instruments. The bass is AI, the bass player, the piano is AI.
Wow.
Yeah, the drums are AI.
Wow.
Right, so it's not a human being playing, but you would think. I actually brought in a guitarist, and when he heard it, he said, "No, this can't be AI, because it sounds so real and so natural."
Wow.
Because what they're doing is they're training. It's just like you. Let's say you want to learn how to play bass guitar. What do? You learn from somebody that knows how to play, or you watch YouTube, and they train. It trains you how to do it. That's exactly what they're training the AI to do.
Wow.
So they're taking all the great bass players, the piano players, the guitar players, feeding all of that into the AI. And say, okay, this is how it's been done in the past. So when somebody asks you for something like this in this style, you already know how it's done.
Play something like. But wouldn't that be monotonous, or they have different?
That's the thing. It's never the same. Wow. Because there's a feature called Humanize.
Okay.
So you can click the button, and it will give you a new performance, completely new performance.
That's amazing, man. Is that your favorite part of music production?
No, my favorite part is capturing that emotion. When either if it's my own song or another artist's song, and then maybe they're just humming it or singing it for the first time, and then in your head you can hear the finished product.
Okay.
So my favorite part is managing to translate that into reality. You get me? So that when somebody else hears it on the radio or in the car, that they understand that emotion is communicated properly. That's my favorite part of the whole process.
How run me through this, right? How do you approach mixing and mastering, right? And what are some of the techniques that you use to get that desired sound output? I know some producers or engineers have very weird ways of achieving the desired sound. I think for once we had was it Black Prophet? We have Black Prophet in here. It's like sometimes you get into the studio and if you put mattress on the wall to have some type of feeling. How do you go about yours?
For me, I like, first of all, to understand what the rules are for that genre. Take something like Amapiano. If you listen to the kick in Amapiano, it's very flat. It doesn't punch. Most kicks, if you listen to house music or
it has some driving force.
The kick, you feel it in your chest. Amapiano is like hitting a pillow. You get me? So soft,
bubbly
but it
thing.
still is there, and it's the log drum and those things that provide the percussion that gives you the drive of the music. So one, you have to understand the rules of the genre.
Okay.
Then see how you can break those rules.
Okay.
But still fitting within that genre, so that someone can still say, yeah, this is Amapiano, but you've added something to it. Yeah. And the other thing is, from the days of, because I'm old school, so I came from the days of analog, when we used to use tape to record. Right? And what's happened is technology has improved the quality of the sound so much that now the sound is so clean.
Yeah.
So what's happened is there are now plugins to make the sound dirty, so to distort the sound. So we spent decades and decades trying to clear up distortion, make everything clean.
Yeah.
And then we realized, but it's the distortion that makes the sound have
it gives
that,
you some human vibe.
Yeah. So now you have things like saturation, tape saturation, distortion, clipping, and all those things that make the sound dirty, because that dirt gives you the feel of the music.
Okay. David Kwamina Bolton is here this morning on Showbiz Review. We're about to get into more tech side and industry side. How has the music industry changed since you started? We're talking 1990.
Yeah, the early 90s. I think from 91, 92, that's when I really started getting into it.
How has the music industry, Ghana music industry, changed ever since you started your career, and how have you been able to adapt to the times?
It's changed drastically. Unfortunately, I'd say for the worst.
Okay.
In terms of the commercial aspect of music. You see, those days, if you were a musician or a label, executive producer and so on, you knew that there was a way you can pay your money, go into the studio, get your product, and then you can take it to be pressed, whether it's vinyl, cassette, CD. You can take that, and then you have something physical. You have your inlay. You have your album cover, where you list all, everything, the artwork. There was something special and magical about it those days. And then you know that you're going to have to send that to every village in Ghana, get those cassettes out there. And then you can see, okay, you've sold 10,000 copies in Western region, 50,000 in Ashanti region, and then you can see where the music is resonating, right? So there was a clear path to getting your money back and making a profit. Yeah. So that's why you realize you had, let's say I'll say the big three when you look at Lumba, Kojo Entry, and Amachi Dede.
Okay.
Obviously there are many big artists, but in terms of when I first came into the industry here, those were the big names.
Yeah, the commercial ones.
Yeah, You see, and they managed to make enough money to sustain themselves and even start other businesses from the music money, because music is seasonal. There are times when you're up, times when you're down. So now it's much more difficult to be a musician because you're relying. One, the whole cassette and physical sales has been replaced by streaming. Streaming doesn't pay in this country.
Why?
Well, because, one, how many people have Spotify in Ghana? How many people have Apple Music? Right? Boomplay, Audio Mac, they don't pay much. You understand? So if somebody streams your song in America, to give you an idea, let's say I have a Spotify subscription in America. It's $10 a month, right? That's what, 150 CDs a month, roughly. Or, well, nowadays it's a bit more than that. But if I'm paying for a subscription in Ghana, I think now it's about 20 CDs a month.
Yeah, something like
something like that. I know it went up slightly recently, but it's around 20 CDs. So compare 150 CDs to 20 CDs.
Yeah.
Right? And the streaming companies pay out according to where the streaming was occurred, where it occurred. So if somebody listens to your song in Ghana, you're getting a fraction of what you would get if somebody listens to your song in America or in UK. Right? So if you have a huge fan base in Ghana, because normally as an artist, your biggest fan base will be your hometown, it means you're getting peanuts. You know, you're getting peanuts. So outside, if you stream on Spotify, if you stream 1 million streams from America, you're getting roughly about $4,000.
Okay. That is 1 million.
Yeah, 1 million streams is about $4,000. Royalties, that's the mechanical royalties from Spotify.
Okay.
In Ghana, you're looking at, you're looking at probably about $800 or less.
Wow.
For 1 million streams. And if you go online, check anyone's Spotify, how many Ghanaian artists have 1 million streams? Very few. Very, very few. Yes, there are some that have the tens of millions. But that's just the top 1% of artists. So how do you expect musicians to survive based on that? You understand? It's very, very difficult now.
What's the way out of this?
The problem is we have devalued music to the point where it is seen as free, something that's free, that should be enjoyed for free. Right, so the only way out now is we have to change that whole paradigm of the streaming model, because it's not working for musicians. It's not working at all, and not just in Ghana, the whole world over. If you talk to the majority of musicians on a CD, it was about 70 to 80 megabytes for one song. The MP3 brought that down to 4 megabytes. Right, so it meant now it was possible to quickly send a song over the internet. Because if you're sending 80 megabytes, even today, it can be a trouble. But imagine back then, 20 years ago.
With slow internet connection and all that.
It didn't work. So when you had 3 megabytes, 4 megabytes, then you had these file sharing sites come up, like Napster and so on. So people then started converting the music on their CD to MP3. Yeah, and then they had the MP3 players like that, the iPods and those things that came out.
Those flash drives that had the earpiece.
Exactly, yeah. So now it was convenient. You could carry hundreds of songs on one device, whereas if you had a CD, it makes it, you have to literally carry a bag of CDs around. So there was the convenience, but then it meant that people could now share the music without thinking about the monetary value. And so that devalued the whole music industry. Okay. So the industry almost collapsed.
With the introduction of MP3?
Yeah, it almost collapsed. Napster and the MP3 almost collapsed the industry worldwide. So Apple Music basically came to save the day, if you like. So they say, okay, fine, this is happening. Let's try and legalize this whole thing. So instead of the file sharing sites pirating your music, we'll sell your music at a fraction. At that time, I think it's like 99 cents. So you can buy the song for 99 cents. Whereas if you're buying the CD, you would have paid, I think, $20 at one point. Yeah. So you're getting it at a fraction of the cost. But at least the artist is getting something back, or the label is getting something back. So then at those times, you still used to buy the song, right? Even though it's 99 cents. Then Spotify came along with some other sites and said, okay, fine, instead of buying the song, pay a monthly subscription. Then you have access to all the music you want. And you can listen to anything, anytime you want that's ever been made. right? And you just pay your $10 or whatever every month, and then we will decide to share the money amongst, depending on how many streams. We divide that all up, and then we pay out the owners of the music. So that's basically how it happened.
And it was up till date, you believe that wasn't really a good move.
No, not that it wasn't a good move. It was the only thing that could happen because technology is disruptive.
Yes.
Right? That was the only real option at that time. Yeah, it was either allow the music industry to collapse entirely,
or at least save something. Save something small for the artist.
Yeah. And it took a while. And actually what's happened now is, I think last year the music industry made the most it's made since before the crash. I think it's recovered fully and is even climbing.
Any reason for that?
I think because everybody is now adjusted to the situation, streaming has become the norm and all of that. Yeah. So, and don't forget the labels, for them, they have huge catalogs, literally hundreds of thousands of songs. The big three. You have Sony, Universal, and then Warner. Yeah, they own basically almost all the music, that we know, the great music. So for them, they actually had shares in Spotify.
Okay, so it makes business sense.
Exactly.
That's where the issue is coming from.
Yeah. So for them, it's literally millions of drops of water making the mighty ocean. But for the artist,
you are the losing end.
Yeah, especially an independent artist. But even the big artists, if you remember, Snoop came out, was it last year or the year before, where he was complaining he got 1 billion streams on a song and he was paid, was it $40,000 or something for 1 billion streams?
That's crazy.
For his writing credits on that.
But of course, for 1 billion sales, he would have been like a billionaire.
Well, right now,
even if there are certain percentage splits in there,
exactly, you would have got millions of dollars.
Yeah.
Definitely, yeah.
But for 1 billion stream to convert into $40,000, that is very ridiculous. Anyway, David Kwame is my special guest this morning on Showbiz Review, and we're having a conversation about his career in music, sound engineering, music production. And if you're an up-and-coming artist, this is the perfect time for you to also listen, because my next question is for you. For an up-and-coming artist or up-and-coming, let's look at producers and engineers looking to break into the music scene. What advice do you have for them?
From the beginning, think of it as a career.
Okay.
Yeah, most of us get into this because we love it. Right, most producers, most artists. I know there's a lot of artists now that just want to be popular, but for a producer or an engineer, you're doing it because you love it. Yeah, but at the same time, if you want to be able to keep on doing it and doing what you love, you have to think of it as a career and understand the business. So understand how streaming works, understand how publishing works from the outset. And it's unfortunate. You hear a lot of producers complaining that they've had all these hit songs, but there's nothing to show for it, because we get caught up in the euphoria of the hits, the buzz, the legend, this, and meanwhile, at the end of the day, you're not making any money from it. So the business side must be handled. You've got to take care of that. It's split sheets. We talk about split sheets all the time. If you're producing a song, make sure you get some part of it. Get some ownership of that, because if that song is a hit, it can feed you for the rest of your life. Can feed you for the rest of your life. So make sure, don't just be there and then they'll pay you off maybe some 2,000 CDs or 200 CDs, depending on who you are. Even if it's 10,000 CDs, you chop that money, finish, and then you'll be sitting there. The artist is touring the world with that song, making money all over the place, and you're there hungry. So make sure that you
look at it as business.
It's business, and don't be too quick to. If a big artist comes and then you're so happy that a big artist has come to you, and then they'll take advantage of you and they won't pay you. They won't give you what you're due. That seems to be happening a lot.
How do you navigate that? If you have a big artist, because as an up-and-coming artist, maybe you have a couple of free beats online, and then a big artist chances upon it and was like, oh, I want to work with this instrumentation or this beat. How do you navigate through it?
Well, it's a balancing act because yes, you have to
because
put
you
yourself
might
out
look
there.
at it from the promotional side of it,
yeah.
which is, I think, would be, I mean, for an up and
Oh,
coming,
brand is important, but then the problem is, as a producer,
yeah,
how many people know that you produced that track? The artist doesn't usually talk about it. You know, once the artist has that hit, it's about them. You know, so how many people really care about the producer in real terms? I mean, look, the songs I've produced, most people don't know I produced those songs.
exactly.
Yeah, so I didn't really benefit from those songs financially. You understand? I mean, I if I had known at that time and put in proper business, documentation, contracts, agreements in place, and you know, if you're an artist, you should respect that because you also want to make a career, you also want to make money. So why do you want to belittle somebody else's input? Because without that beat, you wouldn't have been able to make that hit song.
Yeah, true.
You know, so don't be too quick to give away your work for free. You should always think about the business because once you start on that free road, it's very difficult to jump off it.
Okay.
Very difficult to jump off it. So you got to keep on, reminding yourself. Okay, if at least set yourself a percentage, even if it's less than the industry standard. Start off, then you know that.
And
you
can
have
build
a piece.
upon it.
Yeah, you have a piece of every song that you're working on.
Let's talk about the industry. Artists that you've worked with and some of the collaborations, the stories, the memorable stories. You've shared that with me, and you guys can also check it out on Street is Watching Pod. Some of the memorable experience working with the artists that you've signed, and also some of them that you did not sign, but some of the artists that were so good they entered into the studio, then magic happened. Some of them that you had to take through timing processes, get their timing right. Who are these artists and the amazing stories behind them?
God, they all have a story behind them, and obviously I think I've talked about VIP endlessly. I mean, they because they were the most charismatic, I guess, and troublesome of the lot. But then, working on, let's say, Mensa. Mensa was and is one of the most talented artists I've ever worked with. He has this natural... Music is part of him. It runs in his family.
Okay.
The answers, it's through everything they do. And he's a very deep thinker, even though he may not show it when he's working with... One Love and all that, but and One Love too is a very deep thinker. Yeah, so I think they use the comedy aspect to put their message across.
Okay.
Yeah, so working with somebody like that, working with Kofi B. I mean, Kofi B was... There was something about his voice. It just invited you. As soon as you heard his voice, it was almost like a small boy singing. I mean, there was something about it that just invited you in. I've mentioned KK Abriwanana. She was the talent.
Really?
Yeah. The talent.
Not so much has been said about Abriwanana.
But if you think about it, if you look at a female artist, I think she's been one of the most successful female artists. I mean, look at where she got to. Then she's branched out into the Idols. Was it Idol Nigeria and all of that? And she really did well. She really did very, very well. And I love her composure. She doesn't have controversy around her. She's just about the music, about the craft.
Yeah.
So there's that. Gosh, Reggie's another one. I mean, Reggie. I mean, that guy is just you can't say anything about him. He's just talent.
How many projects did you work with Reggie on?
Reggie, I did more. I didn't do production with Reggie. I worked again with Mensa. Mensa produced a lot of songs for Reggie, and then I was handling the mixing and mastering of that.
Okay.
So
they were recorded in your studios? Right?
No, that was actually recorded in Reggie's studio.
Okay.
In Cantonments.
Okay.
So I also worked in other studios, even though we had our own studios.
Okay.
I worked with Slim Buster a lot in his studios. Mixed a lot of songs with him. Worked even in Hush Hush. Mixed some songs for Hammer in Hush Hush. Where else? A few other studios around. So I was like a floating,
So you had
floating
your
engineer.
studio, and then you could also bounce into other people's studio when they needed your service.
Yeah, because for me it was exciting going into a different studio, seeing new equipment, things you're not familiar with. I always want to learn.
Okay, so let's get back to this. Were you, or did you sign some contract to some of these productions that you did?
Yeah. Well, essentially what we did is we were like the middle house or the gateway. Let's say the middleman. So we would take an artist, produce them, come up with the final product, and then sell them on to the distributor.
Okay.
Yeah, because we were not distributors. We didn't understand that whole side of things. So we basically finish the product, then we sell it on. So it's almost like an agent in the football
okay.
in the football. The football industry.
So you look for talent, groom them, record them. Once you have the final product, you look for an executive producer who's willing to further.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's it, yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Anyway, still talking about artist collaboration. How do you approach collaborating with artists, as yourself, and what's your role in helping them to achieve their vision from, let's say, VIP that you spotted, that you work with at some point?
Well, we didn't spot VIP. They were already big.
Okay,
before,
working with them, and seeing their vision, how were you able to collaborate and get them to the next level?
Yeah. So for me, whenever I'm working on music, I'm looking at the longevity of that music. So I'm not looking for hits so much. I want a song that in 10 years' time, in 20 years' time, it can be played and still appreciated for what it is.
Okay.
So if you listen to that whole album that we produced, all the songs have that. There's a lot more musical theory in there. There's some substance to it. You understand? So for me, I'm always looking at it in terms of how's it going to stand up in 10 years? There's no point making a hit that blows up everywhere and then 2-3 years' time, nobody's playing it on the radio.
Okay.
Yeah. I always use Pricky's song, Obafefefe. Right now, every time you drop that, no matter where, it just hits. And it sounds like it's recorded yesterday.
I told you about it, that most of the DJs put it in a mashup these days still.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Even in 2024.
Right.
And how old is that song?
That was recorded in 99.
Wow.
99.
So we're talking like 25 years?
25 years, yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
see where it hits, especially if it's on a big system. That kick and the bass, it just blows you. It's So that's what I always look at. I don't know. I'm not commercially minded. Let me put it like that. So, yes, I could have made a lot more money from music. Yeah. Not to say I didn't make any money from it, but because I had my IT side, and I still do. So that's always my foundation, my cushion, if you like. So when I'm making music, it's because I want that music to really shine.
Okay.
You understand? So I'm not looking to do quick cheap, quick cheap music that will just trend. One thing I also don't do is allow vulgarity, profanity, that sort of thing in what I'm working with, because that's not what I stand for. I think music it should be able to be played anywhere. You understand? On radio and all that. So yes, the occasional swear words, if it is necessary for the song, fine. But then it shouldn't just be for the case of, we love the wordplay. Wordplay here, we're talking about going to church instead of what we're really talking about. You get me? So that sort of thing, I think it's cheap, and it doesn't take you far.
So artistically, for an artist a typical artist that DKB will be interested in, how should the artist look and sound?
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't really matter.
It doesn't matter. I mean, your looks are your looks.
Sound-wise.
Your sound is your sound. And you see, that's the beautiful thing about music, is there's a sound for everybody. Yeah. So maybe I appreciate hip-hop, but I won't say that I'm gonna, in my quiet time, that I'm looking for some hip hop to listen to. Yeah, but I can work with hip hop, and I can, because I appreciate it as an art form. But I have my preferences.
Okay.
Yeah, I prefer melodic songs, stuff like that. But then I do like hip hop. But then there are people who they're so deep into hip hop, they will analyze every single lyric, everything, looking, There are people who love classical music, for instance. There are people who love country. So there's an audience for everybody.
Okay.
So I don't try and differentiate in terms of that I have, because I like this music. No, I'm not going to produce you, or I don't understand. I will take it as a learning experience.
Okay.
To try and understand, how that, and every genre there's a culture around it. Yeah, I'm a piano. Even though we've kind of appropriated it in this country, it's unfortunate. If you go to South Africa, there's a whole culture around Amapiano that came up from Kwaito and all that. It's not just...
It didn't just get here.
Yeah, it didn't just get here. People have died over that music over there. Because, the society is quite violent. And there's a whole... The same thing with hip-hop. Look at Tupac and Biggie and all of that. There's so much more than the music itself.
There's
so
a culture.
you have to respect that and understand it to the best of your ability.
What about content? Content of the song. What type of content is DKB interested in, and what type of content would you say, this one there, I'm not going to hit the record button?
Anything that degrades women, right? I'm not going to work with that. Anything that is discriminatory, I'm not going to work with that. You understand? Anything else, I'm fine. I mean, you can talk about love, you can talk about politics, you can talk about problems in the world, you can talk about how good something is. That's fine. But then I won't condone the BBBs and all that, the big booty and all that. You get me? All that sort of thing. And then we like to appropriate other cultures without understanding it. Especially in some of our music videos and things, we'll just copy some hip hop. You got to get some flashy car, and you got to get some girls in some tights, shaking their stuff and all that. And because you've seen it done somewhere else, that it's not who we are as a people. Yeah, fine, it works over there. But here, do we really appreciate that? So why not use our culture and be proud of our culture? You understand? So that we can take our traditional dances and update them.
Okay.
Update them, make them appealing, and that will actually sell globally.
But with the shaking, we have bobo.
Exactly.
The ladies shake their bum bum.
Yeah, but it's done in a way that doesn't it doesn't belittle the woman.
Okay.
You get me? There's substance behind it. So so those are the things I don't like working on, those sorts of empty songs.
Let's look at tech and innovation. In this field, you've told us this morning that there's AIs that have been incorporated into music production. AIs that are playing bass guitar, they are playing drums and all that in music production, and it has changed the sound, the look and feel of music production as it stands now. But is it for the best?
It is what it is. Right, it is what it is. There's a story back I think it was in the 80s.
Yeah.
There's this artist, I think I mentioned it last time, Peter Gabriel. He's a huge worldwide artist. He had this huge song called Sledgehammer. Yeah. And in that song and some other songs, he replaced. Before that, he had full orchestras. So when he's recording, he'll bring in the full orchestra to play string parts and all of this. Then he said he's going to go on tour just with the synthesizers. So he didn't take his orchestra
with him.
He just took the synthesizers, his computer and everything. This was in the 1980s. And it sounded great. There was a huge protest from the music industry. He said, no, you're destroying the industry. You're taking people out of work and all that. And it's the same argument that keeps on coming back up when synthesizers came, when DAWs, now that people can make music with their laptops.
Yeah.
now people are complaining that music is rubbish and this and that, but it's not true necessarily. And AI is just another progression of that. It's just another progression, and it will keep on happening. That's as human beings, we always want to progress. So if you want to fight and stay in the past, you'll get left in the past. So if you truly want to remain relevant, you have to keep up with the times. You have to keep up.
You need to keep up with the times. Any new tech that excites you when you're in the studio? Any new tech?
Man, there's so much. Right now, I think is it called Audimi? There's a new site called Audimi, where you can actually sing a part, right? You can sing a part, and then it has AI musicians, singers, AI singers. So it can actually replace your vocal with the AI vocal. Yeah, and it's changing the industry. So you have now producers, right? Producers who can't necessarily sing. You can get somebody, or if you can sing a little bit, you can actually sing, and then it can tune the vocal for you. Say, okay, I want this singer. I want this female singer. I want this baritone singer. And then you put it in, and it will give you a professionally recorded vocal.
Wow.
Which you can then slot into your track and then mix and master. So what it means now is producers can make all the songs they want. You don't need to get a session musician in to sing and all of that. So I want to actually use it for backing vocals.
Okay.
So now instead of, traditionally what you do is you record yourself, then you do your harmonies, but it sounds like one person because it's your own voice in different pitches and So now you can say, okay, fine. I don't have a bass voice, so I can actually sing the bass part, feed it into the AI, get a baritone voice,
and then use it to back.
Use it to back.
What?
Can do all of that, and it sounds so good. It's amazing, and it's just, if you compare it to where it was a year ago, it has gone like 10 times, 20 times.
The tech has advanced.
Yeah. So now next year and the year after that, it's just getting better and better, and it's affecting all aspects of creativity, not just music, but even videos. I've started experimenting with AI video generation, where you can actually generate music videos based on your ideas. Whatever idea you have in your head, it can generate a video based on that. You don't need a camera, nothing. So it's crazy. It's crazy where it's going.
Anyway, whole team packed in here. I know you're enjoying every bit of it. Mr. Music Man. Yes, the Music Man, you're enjoying it. I have Robert Clark here. I have Edem Chotobe. We're getting into it. We are trending over the weekend, but still we're there inside.
What's your name?
Over the weekend.
Why did you trend?
Please, I'm not down with my questions.
I'm so happy.
I know, right? They pressed your neck.
You can't press my neck. I don't even have neck. I don't have neck. What are you going to press?
You press your neck and your stomach.
But when we're having a conversation on the pod, you made mention of the fact that you were introduced to Ghana through former President, may you so rest in perfect peace, Flight Lieutenant Jerry John Rawlings.
Yeah.
And the relationship that exists between the two of you and all that. But as a musician, in 2024, we have like 4 more months or 5 more months to the general elections. If you're approached by a political party to compose a song for them, whether you're going to use Audimi or not, it's going to be David Bolton's song for Party A or Party B. Would you do that?
Not again. I did it in the past.
You've done some before?
Yes, we did it in the past, and it didn't go well.
How bad was it?
What actually happened is this was 2000, the elections, and the NDC approached us. And they wanted VIP to make a victory song because they were so confident that they were winning the elections. I mean, there was no doubt. So
That is in 2000.
2000. So they actually paid handsomely. We made the song VIP. Was it Hey Joe Bodo Bodo? I forgot I'm sure the song is there somewhere. We even had Nana Konadu and her children coming to the studio whilst it was being recorded and all that. It was a party, because
Victory song.
victory song.
Hey.
And then
It wasn't even a campaign song.
Victory song.
Victory song.
And then we all know what happened.
NDC
Don't know what
lost.
happened. NDC lost. And then VIP started getting bashed, and then I got some flack from that as well. But so I don't think it's worth it. As a musician, if you want to have a career and a long-term career, try and stay out of politics.
Okay.
Try and stay, because the way politics is, you're definitely going to win, you're going to lose. And in Ghana, so far, it's been consistently an 8-year cycle. Yeah, we don't know if it's going to break this year or not, but anyway. But so you should be careful, because you get, don't forget, your fan base cuts across all the political views. Yeah, so you have NDC, you have MPP, some people love Cheddar, some people, all of that. It could be Alan, whatever. So you stand a risk of alienating a portion of your fan base, and it's your fan base that keeps you who you are. So I think I would advise any musician just to
stay away from politics.
Because you get some decent cash for that time, but then you may end up losing a lot more than the value of that money you're getting.
Let me ask you this question. If I failed to ask that when we had you on the pod, there's this increase in fact, there's not even an increase, it's now a norm. Because it started at some point, music producers and engineers who create the beat, and then they will have a signature. One beat. Beat. School me a little bit on that. How did this start? Because you've lived through that era.
Yeah.
But DKB maintained that. And I stand to be corrected.
We had it on a few tracks.
And why?
Tracks.
What was the need? Because I don't normally hear it in other foreign productions. I mean,
it happens.
It happens.
Yeah. I mean, just look at DJ Khaled, for instance. I mean, that guy is probably the master of marketing in the whole music industry globally. We're the best.
We're the best music.
Yeah. Most of the American producers have tags.
Okay.
They have tags. It's normal. I mean, at the end of the day, you want to brand your work.
Okay.
You want to brand your work, and you want people to know who made that music, who made the beat. So there's nothing wrong with it at all.
So what informs you to put it in certain songs and some songs not?
No, for the smart producers, make sure it's in every track.
Okay.
Right, but then depending on who you're working with, don't forget, some of them work with the major labels, and the label will say, no, we don't want the tag in this song. Maybe if it's a Rihanna song or Beyonce song or something, they don't want somebody else taking part of the shine, away from them. Okay. So if you're dealing with some of these artists, even though it may be the same producer, but they won't tag that particular track. Yeah, so you find it depends on the leverage you have as the producer, big you are.
Okay.
Yeah, and because someone like DJ Khaled, him putting it on your track is helping you as an artist. Yeah, because the guy is bigger than you as the artist. You see, so I think it's just branding, and there's nothing wrong with it.
Okay, so Kwame, now you're rest assured there's no issue with saying one beat in a song.
Yeah. There's nothing wrong.
Yeah. Some were saying it's not professional, because I've been with music producers that are saying, some say that it's not professional to have your name in a song and all that, but now Bolton right now is telling us that, Charlie, it's also marketing. You also need to get your stuff out there, because most of the time producers are not given the credit that they deserve. After the song is out there, the artists don't even talk about the people behind the music. Anyway, what advice would you give to your younger self starting out on this music journey?
Don't do it.
Don't do music, guy. Yeah, from.
No, I mean, for me, it's honestly, I'm sure everybody in this room will say, look, it's a love-hate relationship we have with this industry, because we're in it because we love it so much, but the industry itself is so messed up that sometimes you think, I mean, why am I doing this? Why am I doing this? But you at the same time, you can't get out of it, because it's something. There's this otherworldly force which is saying, no, this is who you are. You're in this industry, so yeah. But for me, I mean, I would say understand. I would have told my younger self, understand the business better before getting into it, and be harder with negotiations and stand your ground in certain things, and don't. It's fine to do free work, but then don't make that your default position where everything, because once you start, as I say, once you start on that free road, it's very difficult to get off it.
How do you hope to be remembered?
To be honest, I don't care.
You don't really care.
I don't really care. For me, legacy is not something that bothers me. You understand? Because everybody has their own view of you, right? We take someone like Rollins. A lot of people love him. A lot of people hate him. Right? So, but then, for me, I have my view of who he was because I knew him closely. Right? Somebody else was affected badly. Maybe he was related to one of the judges or somebody that you get me. So everybody has their viewpoint of how somebody affected them, whether it be good or bad. So I'm sure I've hurt a lot of people. I've helped a lot of people. But for me, whilst I'm alive, I'm always looking for what I can do next, not for what I've done. That's why I don't really talk about what I've done so much. So if for instance somebody had taken a credit for a song, which has happened a lot of times, I'm not going to go on social media and start, saying pull down the video and things like that. Just
Why are you coughing?
No, I have.
You have what?
Something in my throat.
You have what?
Something.
A frog.
People have taken credit for some works, and DKB Studios is here to tell us that he will not go on Facebook to do that, and you are doing that.
No, it wasn't even about that. It was a response to stimuli. Spontaneous.
Now, I took a good look at the inlay of, I think, was it Asem Sebe, right? Asem Sebe, and I realized that you did most of the productions on it.
Yeah.
And I think it got into, there was a conversation on one of the radio stations about credit, of which I think me and you, we've been lashed over the weekend for.
Unfortunately,
yeah. But we'll take a minute for you to, because I've seen your apology on social media with respect to the slip that happened on my pod.
Right.
And I think maybe for people that have not followed the conversation through, maybe they saw one side of it. We would like to officially issue an apology on that. I think DKB has done that on his Facebook to GQ, and GQ has responded that apology accepted.
Yeah.
So we move on. It was with respect to Ahumkawum song, exactly. And in fact, in the beginning of the video, when I asked that, when we got to that part, I think you said that you've forgotten, and I don't know if you want to take a minute to clarify that.
Yeah, for me, it's not that I've forgotten the songs, but it's the names of the songs.
The names of the songs.
Because already my tree is terrible.
Yeah.
And even though I'm a chief, I still can't speak Fanti properly.
Still not in Timinka.
Debbie. So language is my weakness. I'm really bad with language. So when you mention, I was talking about
hit songs.
Yeah,
VIP.
The VIP. So I was talking about Dabin Nadebeba.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I was.
Dabin Odobeba.
It's not actually Dabin Odo. It's Dabin Nadebeba. Check it. That. Okay. For so long, and most people think it's Dabin Odo Beba, but it's not that.
Oh, okay.
Check the actual title of the song.
All right.
Let me see. Daben.
Odebeba.
Eh?
Odebeba.
Daben no Debeba.
Uh-huh.
Hey.
It's, let me see.
No.
I think I have it here.
Yeah.
It's Daben. Look.
Daben no Debeba.
Oma yini di.
Not Debeba. It's not Odo.
Oh.
Daben na Dibeba.
Daben no Debeba. When
Exactly.
when you go take come?
When will you bring
Really?
That's what it means. When we bring it, basically, yeah. So for me, I was always thinking it's Daben Odo Beba. But that's not the actual, that's not what it is.
Wow, let me see if I can get the song. Yeah? Let's see.
The song.
Okay. Daben no Debeba. Omo yusu adwin.
Well, we just love the song.
Yeah.
We love the song.
So that's what when I said the biggest song on the album, that's what I was talking about.
Ah,
You see?
and I said Ahum Kaum.
So I,
Okay.
because honestly, I know the line in the song, but I've forgotten the actual title of the song.
Okay.
So that's when I confidently said, yes, that's the one. Meanwhile, but funny enough, something, when you said it, there's something, am I sure? But then it was too late. So by that time, we'd moved on to the next thing. So anyway, it was a slip. It was a slip.
Okay.
But
so,
people have accused me of being having medical issues and things over this. So, as far as I know, I don't have senile dementia or Alzheimer's. But
I've seen where you're trying to render some.
Yeah, he says he's very, very sorry about that.
he did. But then sometimes we should think before we just post things, because again, once it's out there, it's out there. So somebody will
people
read
have
that.
screenshots.
Yeah, people will read that and think, oh, this guy maybe has a medical condition.
somebody jab you?
Yeah. Plenty.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
Plenty. Me, if I take some, I take nice.
For you, you own it.
No, so why do I have to
You're a
take?
DJ, you should have known this.
Okay, so it's as if we have.
Don't just
No, as if no. I would. No, I will talk about that.
Come today. Make we go.
The way I hit up for.
No, you hit up ground, we don't care.
Okay, no problem.
You the DJ, they like for no.
No, why I for no? As if we have a school for DJs that you have to answer 10 questions, of which one.
So you go take him.
Never will take him.
You go take him.
I'm not gonna take him.
Driver will not get driving license.
Like
So-
some responsibility.
Okay, so-
to do
so-
that.
But I understand Slim's position. I understand his
Why you
situation.
understand
Okay,
it?
Because we all go through that once in a while.
And-
You don't always get it right.
Okay.
But
There is a reason why we are here at this.
I'm coming. And you see, if you have for his show, I don't know if he has a producer who will be telling
I
him
don't.
he doesn't have.
I don't.
So for those who
No,
have
hold on.
producers,
So
at least
hold
you
on.
get prompted.
So hold on. So hold on.
Yeah.
So hold on. So hold on, and let me come in with this. I beg. There is a reason why I posted this on Facebook. That's the reason why there's an increased demand for podcasting. Because podcasting, as it stands now, offers a certain level of freedom of speech, which most people feel that traditional media may not be giving them. As we are having this conversation on this live radio, I have so many regulators.
Yeah.
I have the regulator for this show, the producer for this show.
Yeah.
I have the head of production for this show.
Yeah.
Step it up a little bit. I have the programs manager. I have the general manager and MGL at large to deal with if I goof here.
Yeah.
So any information that I put on this platform has gone through a certain level of filtration before it gets to me to deliver to the people. However, on the podcast, it's a gentleman or a guest sharing his experience and his achievement. Hold on.
In your
Toboase.
Like you make we go around you.
If you cut, ashes, I beg, join them.
You want him to burn Slim into ashes?
If like you make we go around, you go explain the tire.
No.
But they explain, you know the
So I mean,
Make-
there should
make-
be a
make-
feed-
make-
there
make-
should be a feedback.
Make
I
you
beg.
explain finish.
I beg. If I don't
Make it
land.
land.
You will never understand.
Please
it.
land.
land.
So
Look at the land.
Slim land.
So if we are having a conversation, like it's a virtually like a 2-hour conversation, we talked about so many things. If you ask me to fact check, yes, you are talking about the ethics of journalism, which a traditional media outlet protects and holds in high esteem. For podcast, every podcast channel has its own terrain that some ride on gossip, some ride on rumors. You do not know the channel that I'm running and what the values are.
The things you've mentioned right now, you didn't
Adikam.
say accuracy was not.
No, so accuracy and information. I'm saying that yes. If you question me as DJ Slim, the host of the show, for not checking every single fact in there,
not be that with the talk.
What are we talking about?
The music, just be the music.
No, but how can I know every hit song?
Your Godfather, they do library for no. If for no, this one you know if you tell us anything.
Once my Godfather they do library,
for no, you
no
do
problem.
Check for that
but
side.
I'm just saying, I
apologize.
So I apologize. First, I apologize because it happened on my platform.
Make we go.
But the fact that
Let's go on.
ask her the next question. You do
The thing be say we're supposed to give out real facts. So once you were not able to do it, that one there we are.
This should be a feedback for you.
So
like you talk you for correct time for that. This song there, I know I'm
but we agree say as human beings you can't always get it right, but you should have gotten it right.
He suggested the wrong thing.
Yes, to him.
So I suggested it.
Yes.
Take up. Yeah. So the thing I mean you will go make the sort of.
Okay, no problem.
So I go.
I'll deal with it on another platform. You hear from me on the other side.
Slim DJ.
My brain.
It's easy.
You were told you go explain tire. Just apologize. Make
We go that you
Okay.
did driver will not get driving license. Where you go?
Okay, my pacho. Young queen. But then
But then you still have something to say. But it's okay.
You hear from me on the other side. We're talking about a new song featuring Samini. Is that Odofofro is a new song, right?
No,
it's not a new song? Because I just heard it.
5 years old.
5 years old.
Yeah, 5 years old.
So then I just said it. Mpacho misremu. Misremu. How is it like? I mean, is that your biggest song?
I don't really
as an artist.
I don't really have any big songs as an artist. You get me? Because I make music again for the love of it. I mean, for instance, this year I've released probably 10 songs already this year. I mean, I release a song every 2 weeks. So I'm not one. I don't really fit into the local terrain of music. You see, even though I featured with Samini, featured episode. Pricky, I did another song with Pricky this year. I'm doing a song with Dr. Nilante. So I do it more for the experience.
Okay.
And put it out there. It's a record. Say it's a record. So for me, if it's a hit or if it's not a hit, sure, I'd love to have a hit, but I don't see myself as a hit maker. You understand? For me, it's about keeping my skills fresh and up to that level.
Okay.
So I always have to be releasing, and it should be, look, even though I say I haven't had a hit, I've probably made well over $100,000 just off the music I've released.
Oy.
Yeah, not directly from streaming, but that music has value in other areas. So
Wow.
So it's that's the thing about the industry. You have to look at it outside of the box.
Okay.
Get me? Look at it outside of the box. But so in terms of my biggest song for streaming is a song called So Many Maybes. Which is a pop song. Pop song. I mean, it's not something that ever be played on radio in Ghana, I doubt. But that's my biggest streaming song.
Wow. What number are we looking at?
Oh, not much. Maybe on Spotify has, I think, about 200,000.
200,000
Yeah,
streams.
it's not that much. Yeah. Yeah.
Amazing. Thanks so much for joining us today. I enjoyed every bit of it. Quite refreshing to have a stress-free edition with with David Bolton. But the final question would be about the weekend thing, but we've already talked about it and how you felt about it. But did it get to you at some point?
It didn't really impact what. How should I be? Look, I have, my biggest fan base is actually in India and Mexico, strangely enough. And I get, let's say, for every 9 positive comments, you get one negative comment. You understand? So it's part of it. And I think it's been said many times that if you want to be successful, you have haters. Yeah, you have haters. Otherwise, you can't be a success without having people that don't like you. Yeah, so you have to develop that thick skin, and don't let it get you. I mean, it's different when it's somebody you know who says something. You get me? When somebody will say you have a medical condition, that sort of thing. Then I was thinking, but it didn't impact me anyway. I actually made a sarcastic comment that, yeah, my senile dementia allows people like you to make comments like that. You get me? So you just
let it go.
You get it? So yeah, but it's normal, and it's something that artists generally, especially the very successful ones, have to learn how to deal with. Because it can really get you down. It can make you depressed. And it can even make you want to stop making music. If you get, because everything you do, there'll be a point where you make a mistake and you have a backlash. Yeah, people will misinterpret what you've said or what you've done, and it happens all the time. You have to realize it's part of the terrain.
Okay. Well, the Continent Live is a project that you're currently working on. How has it been? I mean, tell us more about it.
Yeah, so that project, what we're looking at doing is unearthing new talent. So we worked with the Continent, and it started off by a writers' camp. So we had a writers' camp where we had, I think, 25 artists and probably about 8 or 9 producers. So they actually came out with, I think, over 80 songs during that camp. And we selected the 18 of the songs. And then we've broken that down into 3 volumes. So we released the first volume a few months back. And that's actually got quite a lot of traction. And it's good because it's showing, I think, the next progression of Afrobeats. It's more Afrofusion. So if you listen to the tracks on the album, it shows you the talent we have here. We have a lot of talent. The young kids coming up now, man, they can do things. The producers, the artists, they're doing stuff that you wouldn't even imagine is possible. That's the great thing about the next generation that always comes. They do things because they don't want to follow the rules. And sometimes they produce magic, and I think that's what they're doing now. So we just want to keep on. At the end of the day, we want our music to go international, go global. Yeah, we want, and it should be the norm, like the Nigerians are doing. That's what we're trying to do.
David Kwame of Bolton, my special guest this morning on Showbiz Review, proudly brought to you by Telecel, Franco Trading Enterprise, and Betway. Thanks so much, sir, for joining us this morning.
Thank you.
We really appreciate it. In fact, this one day, there's no slips in there, so you people can let us have our peace of mind after this one. We're coming back after this short musical interlude to get into Showbiz Review discussion.
This is Hitz.